for the movie and for myself. And I said, my career, first movie, I'm out.
Jean-Claude Van Damme, born Jean-Claude Camille François van Varenberg on October 18, 1960, in a quiet corner of Brussels, grew up in a world that seemed ordinary on the surface, but often felt isolating to him. His father, an accountant, maintained order through numbers, while his mother, a florist, filled their home with colour and beauty. With his sister Veronique as his only companion, young Jean-Claude often felt invisible, teased for being small, frail, and wearing thick glasses. In the mirror, he saw a boy trapped in a body too weak to carry his dreams, yet inside, a fire was quietly growing. At the age of 11, he vividly recalled standing before his reflection, feeling humiliation, and vowing that he would one day rewrite the story of his life. Those early years were marked by silent struggles against ridicule, self-doubt, and the profound loneliness that left lasting impressions on his heart. They were the first battles he fought not in a ring, but in his own mind, and it was here that his resilience quietly began to form. The foundation of discipline. Recognizing his son's inner turmoil, Jean-Claude's father enrolled him at a local karate center under Master Claude Guetz. For 4 years, Jean-Claude trained with relentless rigor, learning discipline and focus that became the foundation for everything to come. By 18, he had earned a black belt in Shotokan karate and joined Belgium's national team, mastering how to turn fear into focus and humiliation into strength. Yet physical power alone was not enough to satisfy his longing for grace and poise, so he took up ballet, training for 5 grueling years at the bar. Ballet taught him balance, fluidity and control, pushing him far beyond the limits of his body and mind. To complete his transformation, he embraced bodybuilding, sculpting the fragile boy into a figure of strength that matched his inner determination. In 1978, when he was crowned Mr. Belgium, the trophies meant less than the internal victory he felt, proof that discipline and belief could reshape not just the body, but the spirit. Dreams that guided him. From a young age, Jean-Claude nurtured dreams that seemed impossible, whispering them quietly in the stillness of a Belgian church. To save the world, to protect nature, and to become a movie star. These wishes were more than fantasies. They were lifelines for a boy seeking light in a world that often overlooked him. Every step of his early life, karate, ballet, bodybuilding, was in service of those dreams, slowly preparing him for a destiny larger than he could yet imagine. In Belgium, he had been a dreamer trapped inside a small body, but through relentless training and self-belief, he rehearsed for the most important fight of his life, proving to himself that he could rise above circumstance. Arrival in America. In 1982, carrying only $3,000, a broken English accent, and unwavering determination, Jean-Claude arrived in the United States alongside his friend Michel Chisi. Hollywood was a galaxy away from the life he knew, and he found himself just another immigrant in a city that seemed indifferent to his existence. Nights were spent in the back seat of beat-up cars, stomachs twisting with hunger, hands trembling from cold, while days were consumed by audition after audition, many ending in polite rejection or laughter at his accent. To survive, he worked wherever he could, delivering pizzas, laying floors, driving limousines, and even serving as a bouncer. Despite the hardship, he trained daily, stretching, lifting, and splitting, clinging to the belief that discipline would carry him forward. Every step, every moment of persistence was a declaration that his dream mattered, even when the world told him it did not. First steps on screen. Jean-Claude's early appearances were small but formative. In 1984, he appeared as a background dancer in Break-In, performing splits that few noticed, and later joined Chuck Norris's stunt team in Missing in Action, learning the craft of camera combat while earning little pay. It wasn't until 1986, with a small role in No Retreat, No Surrender, that he finally appeared on screen as a character with a name. Though the film was modest, it felt like sunlight after years of rain, proof that his effort was beginning to yield tangible results. These experiences, poverty, rejection, isolation, became the sparring partners that shaped the resilience for which he would later be celebrated, and the humble beginnings strengthened his commitment to a life built on perseverance. Breakthrough with Bloodsport. In 1988, Jean-Claude's persistence culminated in Bloodsport, a low-budget martial arts film that would change his life. Playing Frank Dux, he brought authenticity and dedication, and audiences recognized not only the skill in his kicks and movements, but the years of discipline behind them. The film catapulted him to global attention, transforming the once invisible Belgian boy into an international action star. For Jean-Claude, the success was more than fame. It was validation of the belief and perseverance that had carried him through hardship. The little boy, who had whispered impossible wishes in a church pew, had finally been seen, and the applause, for once, mirrored his inner triumph. Rising stardom and challenges. Following Bloodsport, films like Kickboxer, Lionheart, Double Impact, Universal Soldier, and Time Cop solidified his place in Hollywood and cemented his reputation as a martial arts icon. His physicality, precision, and screen presence were unparalleled, and fans around the world marveled at his signature moves, splits, and disciplined form. Yet behind the scenes, the intensity of his schedule and the demands of fame began to exact a personal cost. Relationships were strained, family connections were tested, and the relentless pace left little room for reflection. The same discipline that had lifted him from obscurity became a double-edged sword, demanding more than his body and mind could easily give. Even as the world celebrated him, Jean-Claude confronted the quiet challenges that success can bring: the absence of simple joys, missed moments with loved ones, and the realization that ambition alone could not guarantee fulfillment. Personal life and relationships. Jean-Claude's personal life was marked by both love and turbulence. His first marriage in Belgium ended as he pursued Hollywood dreams, teaching him that ambition often comes with hidden costs. Later marriages, including those with Cynthia de Royen, Gladys Portugues and others, brought moments of joy, family and connection, but were also tested by distance, career demands, and the pressures of stardom. Through it all, he became a father to Christopher, Bianca, and Nicholas, learning that love requires presence as much as intention. The lessons of these relationships were not always easy, but they shaped his understanding of forgiveness, patience, and the enduring power of human connection. Over time, he would return to rebuild and strengthen bonds, discovering that the quiet victories of family and trust mattered far more than public acclaim. Confronting challenges and recovery. Even the strongest warriors face moments of vulnerability, and Jean-Claude was no exception. The pressures of fame, relentless work, and personal challenges led him through periods of difficulty, including struggles with mental health and the temptation of unhealthy coping mechanisms. Recognizing the importance of care and treatment, he sought help, eventually receiving a diagnosis of bipolar disorder. With therapy, medication, and renewed commitment to discipline, he reclaimed control over his life. Training, once a tool to build physical power, became a form of meditation and emotional grounding, helping him navigate life with resilience. These experiences taught him the profound truth that strength is not the absence of struggle, but the courage to confront it openly and honestly. Reinvention and legacy. In the 2000s, Jean-Claude Van Damme returned to the screen not merely as an action hero, but as a man willing to show his humanity, vulnerability, and humor in ways that audiences had never fully seen before. After decades of portraying near mythical figures whose split kicks seemed impossible and whose strength appeared otherworldly, he embraced roles that allowed the world to witness the person behind the legend. Now, he could laugh at his own reputation, acknowledge his past mistakes, and reveal the struggles he had endured with honesty and grace. His performance in JC5D was a landmark moment, breaking conventional expectations of action cinema and redefining what it meant to be a star. In a 6-minute monologue, he spoke directly to the audience, addressing not just his career, but his life, his doubts, his pain, and the relentless pursuit of a dream that had once lifted him from obscurity. Viewers were drawn not to the invincible fighter they had admired for decades, but to a human being who had faced profound personal trials and emerged with insight, self-awareness, and courage. This was a turning point, a reinvention that elevated him beyond the physical spectacle of martial arts into the realm of authenticity, reminding the world that heroes are most powerful when they are real. Following JCVD, he carefully selected projects that balanced his enduring skill with newfound maturity. Films like Universal Soldier, Regeneration, and Day of Reckoning demonstrated that the warrior within him was still capable of commanding attention, yet there was a subtle shift in presence, a combination of focus, precision, and a deep understanding of his own limits. Even when he appeared in ensemble films such as The Expendables 2, he brought not just muscle and speed, but a lived wisdom, a quiet authority that only decades of triumph, failure, and self-discovery could cultivate. His work in these years was less about proving he could still perform impossible feats, and more about showing that he could navigate the human condition on screen with honesty. Beyond film, Van Damme reached audiences through unexpected moments that captured both skill and artistry. The Volvo truck commercial, in which he balanced in a perfect split between two moving vehicles, became viral worldwide. Unlike his cinematic performances, which showcased the theatricality of action sequences, this single moment distilled decades of dedication, practice, and physical mastery into a concise image of poise, control, and artistry. Yet even as the world marveled at his athleticism, there was a humility in his movements, a recognition that age, experience, and time had added depth to what had once been raw, almost reckless talent. In these years, Van Damme's reinvention was not simply about maintaining fame, it was about embracing the full spectrum of himself, the disciplined athlete, the reflective human, the father, and the man who had learned to rise from life's toughest blows with dignity and purpose. Family and stability. While his career in film evolved, Van Damme's most meaningful achievements were rooted in family and stability. Through years of trials, broken relationships, and personal reflection, he returned to build a life defined by forgiveness, presence, and connection. Reconnecting with Gladys Portuguese, his longtime partner and mother of his children, became a central pillar of this journey. Together, they nurtured Christopher and Bianca, raising them not simply as an iconic actor's children, but as individuals in their own right, instilling in them the values of discipline, resilience, and empathy. These relationships became a sanctuary, a space where Van Damme could reconcile the demands of his career with the responsibilities and joys of family life. His homes in Los Angeles, Brussels, and Hong Kong reflect more than wealth. They embody a commitment to creating refuge and balance in a life that had often been turbulent. Each residence serves as a reminder of his past, a place to celebrate roots, preserve memories, and cultivate moments of quiet reflection. In Los Angeles, his Mediterranean-style villa combines functional space for training with areas for family life, allowing him to maintain physical discipline while nurturing emotional bonds. In Brussels, he preserves a home that connects him to the city of his youth, grounding him in the memory of the boy who once prayed in a small church for guidance and purpose. In Hong Kong, he maintains a serene retreat overlooking a harbour where he can retreat from the pace of modern life and reflect on a career that has spanned continents and decades. Within these spaces, Van Damme balances the role of global icon with the simple joys of daily life: family meals, walks with his dogs, and moments of play and laughter with his children. It is here that he demonstrates the depth of his personal evolution, showing that the quiet victories of stability, love, and trust are as vital as the thunderous applause that once accompanied his every cinematic triumph: daily life and discipline. Even at 63, Van Damme's daily routine reflects the same discipline that carried him from a frail, bullied boy in Brussels to a world-renowned action star. His mornings begin with stretching and ballet-inspired exercises, a practice that honours decades of training and preserves the balance, flexibility, and grace that defined his early career. Martial arts practice remains a cornerstone, not for show, but as a form of mental clarity, meditation, and connection to a lifelong passion. Strength training, weightlifting, and conditioning continue to challenge his body, while a strict health-conscious diet fuels his energy and supports longevity. These practices are not performed for recognition or spectacle. They are a testament to his belief in care, routine, and self-respect. Through disciplined movement, he maintains not only the physical capabilities that once thrilled audiences worldwide, but also the mental resilience that allows him to navigate life with calm and focus. In interviews and personal reflections, Van Damme emphasizes that this balance between body and mind is essential for well-being. He acknowledges that every routine, every repetition, every controlled movement is a reminder that true strength lies in consistency, patience, and respect for one's limits. His life is now less about achieving fame and more about cultivating a sustainable rhythm that nurtures both body and spirit, demonstrating that discipline, when applied thoughtfully, can be a source of empowerment rather than pressure. Wisdom and reflection. Jean-Claude's journey has endowed him with profound insights into the nature of success, struggle, and human resilience. Over decades of extraordinary achievement and personal hardship, he has discovered that legacy is not defined by trophies, box office numbers, or viral moments, but by character, integrity, and the ability to recover from setbacks. He often reflects on the lessons of his early life, that humiliation can become motivation, that relentless effort can reshape limitations, and that even the greatest triumphs are hollow if not paired with humility and connection. Embracing vulnerability has been central to this wisdom. By acknowledging his imperfections, sharing his mental health journey, and speaking openly about the challenges he has faced, Van Damme has become a model of strength that transcends the screen. His story illustrates that resilience is not a matter of hiding weakness, but confronting it with honesty, learning from it, and moving forward with intention. These reflections permeate both his personal and professional life, influencing his decisions, interactions, and the way he presents himself to the world. He understands that fame is fleeting, but the principles of perseverance, compassion, and self-awareness endure, shaping the way he navigates every day and every challenge. Enduring inspiration. Today, Jean-Claude Van Damme stands as more than an icon of martial arts cinema. He is a testament to human perseverance, discipline, and the capacity for redemption. He has faced poverty, ridicule, professional rejection, personal heartbreak, and mental health struggles. Yet he continues to live each day with purpose, care, and awareness. His story demonstrates that the most significant battles are often internal, fought in the mind and heart rather than on screen, and that true victory is measured not by accolades, but by the courage to rise after hardship, learn from failure, and honour one's values. To fans worldwide, he embodies more than extraordinary athletic feats or unforgettable cinematic moments. He represents the enduring power of resilience, the importance of family, and the value of living authentically. Even as he ages, his commitment to discipline, mindfulness, and presence serves as a model for those who admire him, showing that life can be extraordinary not merely through achievement, but through the conscious choices one makes every day. His legacy, therefore, extends far beyond film or fame. It is a story of survival, reinvention, and quiet heroism, a reminder that the strength we most admire is not always visible on the outside, but lives in the courage to confront oneself, embrace growth, and nurture the relationships that matter most. In this light, Van Damme is not simply a legend of action cinema. He is a symbol of hope, a demonstration that even after decades of challenges, life can be rebuilt with care, persistence, and love. For those who watched him kick, split, and fight on screen, the most inspiring scenes are now those off-screen, the moments of reflection, of family, of discipline, and of unwavering commitment to the self. His journey is proof that resilience, humility, and integrity are the deepest forms of victory, and that a life well lived is measured not by applause, but by the quiet strength that carries one through every trial, triumph, and ordinary day.